Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are strapping in for a pretty wild ride, I think.
Oh, yeah. What have we got?
We're going into the hilarious and sometimes surprisingly profitable world of adult animated TV.
Ah, okay. Good stuff.
Yeah, you sent over this fantastic collection of data looking at some real heavyweights.
hmm
Archer, Bob's Burgers, American Dad.
Futurama, Family Guy.
Exactly. And even the Cleveland Show.
Right.
So our mission today isn't just to laugh at the jokes, but to really dig into what makes these shows tick.
You mean creatively and financially?
Precisely. How they became such major players in the whole entertainment business.
Okay, I'm in. It's a great chance to look past the gags and figure out what gives them staying power.
And their cultural punch, right?
Yeah, and how they ended up being such, well, big financial successes. We can sort of figure out which ones really conquered our screens.
And let's be honest, our wallets too sometimes.
Yeah, fair point.
Okay, so big picture first. It's obvious these aren't all the same, right? They're not cookie cutter cartoons.
Not at all. Each one's carved out its own little niche. Or big niche in some cases.
Yeah, exactly. You've got the ones that feel like they've always been there, the real financial powerhouses, like Family Guy.
Family Guy, American Dad. Definitely.
Then you've got others, maybe Bob's Burgers or Futurama, that have these super passionate fan bases, loads of critical acclaim.
But maybe a different kind of financial story.
Right. And what's really interesting is that profitability, it's not just about how many episodes they make, is it?
No, it's way more complex. It's like a puzzle where it airs network, cable, streaming, that matters.
How long it runs for.
Absolutely. And then all the other stuff. Merch, syndication deals.
Movies, even.
Yeah, all those extra revenue streams. They add up.
Okay, well, speaking of adding up, we've got this comparative table you put together, and the differences in lifespan and earnings are pretty fascinating.
Yeah, there's quite a range.
So, leading the pack, no surprise maybe, Family Guy, premiered way back in 1999.
Still going. Projected through 2025 at least. That's 23 seasons.
Massive. And the estimated global earnings, just staggering, over $2 billion.
$2 billion plus, yeah. Driven by exactly what we mentioned, huge syndication deals, and it's a merchandising juggernaut.
That $2 billion figure, it really hammers home how much longevity matters here, doesn't it?
It really does. Think
Yeah.
about it. 2 decades on air. That's a massive back catalog of episodes.
Which is gold for syndication.
Pure gold. Selling those rerun rights over and over. Plus, if a show stays relevant that long, the merch opportunities just keep coming.
Okay, next up, American Dad. Started in 2005, also still active, 21 seasons.
And earnings around, what, $500 million plus?
Yeah, over $500 million. And the note here mentions a successful transition to cable. That seems important. Why was that such a big deal?
That's a really good point. Moving from a big network like Fox to cable to TBS.
And keeping its audience, maybe even growing it.
Exactly. That shows real strength, real adaptability. It basically gave the show a whole new lease on life.
Let it keep making episodes.
And keep earning money through ongoing broadcasts and future deals really extended its profitable lifespan.
Makes sense. Okay, Futurama, another 1999 premiere.
But with a much more complicated history. Ended, revived again in 2023.
Yeah, the show that wouldn't die. Across its 11 seasons, about $400 million in estimated earnings.
And the key there seems to be strong DVD sales.
Yeah.
Back in the day and now streaming.
So the fans really played a huge part. That loyalty seems immense.
Oh, absolutely. Futurama's journey is like the perfect example of fan-based power.
Even when it got canceled.
People kept buying the DVDs and demanding it on streaming. Enough demand to make bringing it back actually make financial sense multiple times.
So that's a different route to profitability then, more fan-driven.
Totally. Fueled by a really engaged audience willing to pay, even when it
Yeah.
wasn't on regular TV.
Interesting. Okay, shifting gears a bit. Bob's Burgers. More recent, 2011.
Still going strong. 15 seasons now.
Estimated earnings around $300 million. And the note mentions a boost from TV and a movie. This feels different, maybe more of a slow burn success.
I think that's a good way to put it. Bob's Burgers shows how you can build a really loyal following and significant success just through consistent quality.
And great characters. People love those characters.
Absolutely. Relatable, well-developed. It didn't maybe have that explosive start, but it grew.
And the movie helped.
Definitely broadened the audience, cemented its place,
Yeah.
gave the finances a nice lift beyond just the TV show itself.
Okay. Then Archer, 2009 start, ended in 2023, 14 seasons.
Estimated earnings about $150 million.
And the notes say Cult following, but limited merchandise. What's that tell us?
Well, that's a fascinating contrast, isn't it? Archer had such a specific style that very stylized comedy
Very unique.
resonated really deeply with a certain group, got critical acclaim, devoted fans.
But maybe not mass market.
Exactly. That more adult, maybe less broadly accessible humor might have limited the potential for, say, mass merchandising or
Yeah.
the really wide syndication deals compared to Family Guy.
So critical success and a cult following don't always equal top-tier commercial revenue.
Not always, no. It highlights that difference.
Gotcha. And finally, The Cleveland Show. Spun off from Family Guy, started 2009.
But ended pretty quickly, 2013. Just 4 seasons.
And the earnings reflect that, around $80 million estimated. Short run, modest impact. Why didn't it quite hit like the others from McFarlane?
Well, simply put, that shorter lifespan just didn't give it time.
Not enough episodes for big syndication deals.
Exactly. Didn't build up that big library, and it didn't really have the time to embed itself culturally, you know?
So less demand for merchandise or renewals.
Right. It's a reminder that even a spin-off from a huge hit isn't a guaranteed slam dunk financially.
Wow. So looking across that whole range, it really makes you wonder why these differences are so stark. Thankfully, we've got some academic perspectives that might shed some light. There's a 2025 study by Selznick suggests that the long-term success, the profitability of shows like Family Guy and American Dad might be linked to how they tapped into like post-recession anxieties,
Interesting angle. How so?
while also using cultural nostalgia and irony. That combo apparently gave them really widespread appeal.
Okay, I can see that. Reflecting anxieties maybe in a comedic way, offering familiarity through nostalgia, plus that kind of knowing irony.
Right. Connects with a broad audience.
And if you connect with a broad audience for years, that sustains engagement, which means more ad revenue, better syndication deals, more merch. It all feeds into those huge earnings. Makes sense.
Okay, and building on that, there's Callens and Vogt from 2024. They talk about the McFarlane trilogy, Family Guy, American Dad, and Cleveland Show.
Right, the 3 connected shows.
They argue these shows use a specific formula involving gender parity and traditionalism.
Gender parity and traditionalism.
Okay, and they say this formula was a big factor in Family Guy's global success, making it that multi-billion-dollar franchise. What do you make of that?
Well, the idea, I suppose, is that blending familiar, maybe traditional settings or family structures, with sharp, satirical takes on gender roles and social norms, maybe that hits a sweet spot. Appeals internationally.
Ah, the global reach part.
That's absolutely key for those kinds of numbers Family Guy pulls in. It opens up way more markets for syndication, licensing, merch, everything. Global appeal equals bigger bucks.
Got it. And then there's Rennett's analysis from 2017. This one focuses on Futurama.
Okay, the comeback kid.
Yeah. Rennett highlights its importance in sort of reshaping adult sci-fi comedy.
Which it definitely did.
But interestingly, Rennett emphasizes the high DVD sales and those successful revivals on different platforms, says those were crucial for revenue after the initial cancellation.
Right. And that really hammers home the point about the engaged fan base again.
How so?
Well, Rennett's work shows how a unique, creative vision, like Futurama's, can build that deep loyalty. That sci-fi comedy blend clearly hit home for a specific audience.
And they showed it by buying DVDs.
Exactly. Their enthusiasm turned into actual purchasing power. And later, that built-in demand made it viable for streaming services to say, yeah, let's bring this back.
So even without the broadest initial appeal.
A passionate, loyal audience can be incredibly valuable long-term. It can lead to sustained revenue, even resurrections. Different path, still profitable.
It's really fascinating how these academic takes help frame that raw data, isn't it?
It really is.
Like understanding that cultural resonance Selznick mentioned helps explain Family Guy's insane longevity, which directly leads to the billions. And Rennett's point on fan loyalty perfectly explains how Futurama kept coming back and making money.
Exactly right. And if we dig back into those notes on profitability from the table, the picture gets even sharper.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
Family Guy's dominance. It's not just one thing. It's this perfect storm, this synergy.
Right.
You've got the incredibly long run, creating that massive episode library. You've got the broad global appeal, maximizing syndication everywhere.
The aggressive merchandising, characters on everything.
Everything imaginable. And then those super lucrative streaming and rerun deals, keeping the cash flowing constantly. It's a machine.
An American Dad, that smart move to cable, to TBS, looks even smarter now.
Absolutely brilliant, strategically. Found a new home, kept building its audience, kept producing content, without maybe the same network pressures, crucial for ongoing revenue.
Okay. And Bob's Burgers, the slow burn, that gradual growth, the movie, the critical acclaim, it really did boost the finances maybe beyond initial expectations.
I think so. Bob's Burgers is such a great example of how consistent quality and character development can build that loyalty over time.
The critical buzz probably helped broaden the appeal, too.
For sure. Pulled in people beyond the initial fan base.
Yeah.
And yeah, the film was a big moment, boosting brand awareness and the bottom line.
And Futurama, back to the fan power, those DVD and streaming numbers literally paved the way for it to come back.
It's direct fan support translating into economic reality. The demand was undeniable. Platforms saw the value in bringing it back. Proves that strong IP with devoted fans is resilient and profitable.
Now, Archer, suave spy comedy, great reviews, passionate fans.
What?
But maybe that specific humor, maybe being primarily on FX limiting the global reach, capped its commercial ceiling compared to the giants.
Precisely. It excelled creatively,
Yeah.
built that dedicated audience, but the narrower demographic, fewer huge international deals, probably limited the revenue compared to shows with broader appeal. It just shows the difference between critical success and massive mainstream commercial impact.
Got it. And lastly, poor Cleveland show. The short run just didn't give it a chance, did it?
No traction for merch, no chance for big renewal deals.
It just didn't have the runway, didn't build the audience loyalty or the episode count needed for that long-term financial success through syndication and everything else. Canceled too soon to make a big commercial more.
Exactly. Limited its footprint.
So, okay, bringing this all together, it feels pretty undeniable. Family Guy is the commercial king of this particular animated hill.
No question.
And it really is that potent mix.
Wow.
Incredible longevity, global appeal, endless merch, huge syndication streaming deals. It's just become part of the furniture culturally.
Absolutely. It embedded itself in the culture in a way few others have, and the financial success is just a direct reflection of that massive, enduring impact.
And it's so interesting to contrast that with Archer. Loved by many, critically acclaimed.
But shows that catering to a niche, even a passionate one, can limit that top-tier commercial reach.
Right. And then you have Futurama and Bob's Burgers showing other ways.
Yeah, Futurama is the ultimate testament to fan power and resurrection in the digital age.
And Bob's Burgers showing how steady growth, quality, and critical acclaim can build into really significant, maybe unexpected, long-term success.
Different paths, all interesting.
So wrapping up this deep dive into the business side of adult animation,
Yeah.
it's clear there's a lot more going on than just the laughs on screen.
Definitely.
Things like the initial idea, how well it connects culturally, how loyal the fans are, those strategic decisions about where it airs, how it's sold later.
Merchandising.
Yeah, all of that dramatically impacts how much money they make and how long they stick around.
Indeed. And thinking about all these different routes to success, it really makes you wonder,
What's the secret sauce?
kind of, what do you, the listener, think is the most critical ingredient for an adult animated show? Not just to be funny and beloved, but to be a lasting commercial hit.
Is it that super broad appeal like Family Guy?
Or that fierce fan loyalty that saved Futurama? Maybe the smart business moves like American Dad made? Or is it something else entirely, some magic ingredient we haven't even touched on? Definitely something to chew on as you watch these shows, old to new, and think about their legacies.